What's up, guys? It's Scott from Ace of Axe RC. Last week on What's in My Kit Wednesday, we went over my power supply. That was the 20 amp LRP power supply. Big thing to remember there was that it was the 4mm bullets was the output for 12 volts. So you just plug 4mm bullets in there, and that's how you get power out of this. So I talked about I use that to power my battery chargers. So my battery chargers obviously have the 4mm bullets on, so they can plug straight in. The GT power came with this. And the Hyperion came with these clips. So you have the battery clips that came with it. So I cut those off, soldered on the bullet plugs, and so I can plug it straight into there. So GT Power XDrive 607, it's only 12 volts. So you have to have a power supply or a battery to run this one. And then the Hyperion EOS 0606i is the charger that I use from Hyperion. And this is 12 volt or mains. And it's also dual voltage, so you can do 110 up to 240. In that range there. So we'll get into a little bit closer look at both of these and look at some differences. All right, guys, first up is going to be the Hyperion. This is the EOS 0606i. It's an AC/DC charger, so you can either use 12 volt or mains power. If I'm in the States, I can use this at 110, 120 there. But if when I'm back home here in England, I can use 220 to 240 volts, not a problem. It uses either one. But since we went over the power supply last week, we're going to use that. So just bring in the power supply, turn it on, obviously. The Hyperion, again, remember it came with these clips. So it didn't come with the bullets on there, so I had to solder those on. So even though I soldered the bullets on, I went ahead and soldered in a plug side of the bullet into the handle as well, so I can just plug that in. And then now I can use that to clip on the battery if I want to. If I'm using a power supply, just simply unplug it. Done that obviously with the positive and the negative one. So, all right, so we'll just plug this in. Hyperion powers up. So what we do is say we're going to charge this battery here. Obviously, I'm not going to have a bag right now because normally when you charge LiPo batteries, you need to have them in a bag or some kind of safe. I'm not going to do that because it's going to take up too much room, and I'm only going to have it on there for a couple seconds. So with LiPo batteries, you need the balance board. So the balance board gets plugged in here, and then you need the plug for the actual battery, which my battery has a Dean's connector, so I use a Dean's here, plug that in. There you go. Now before we plug the battery in, we want to make sure that we got everything ready for it. Get some of this stuff out of the way here. You know what the power supply is there, so that really doesn't need to be in the picture anymore. So what we do is you go to battery type. It's already on LiPo. You can go to Life, PB batteries, NiCad, nickel metal. But we got LiPo, so we're going to hit enter for that. And that's going to take us down to the milliamp of the battery. This battery is 5200 milliamps, so we're going to go, or 4200 milliamps, so we're going to drop that down to 4200. Hit enter. Then how many cell is it? It's on 2S, which is what we got here. But you can take it up to, you can take it up to 6S, but obviously we don't want 6S, we've got 2, so 2S, hit enter, and how many amps do you want to charge at? So unwritten rule, basically, we usually charge at 1 amp per cell, or 1 amp per 1000, so this is a 4.2, so 4200 milliamp, so we'll charge that at 4.2 amps as well. So the way to do it now is, or the way that I do it at least, is plug it into the balance charger, and then plug in Dean's. Sure, again, this battery would normally be in a bag if I had more room, but I don't right now, so make sure you always charge these in a safe place, in a bag or whatever. And then you just hit enter, hold it. Balance connector, it checks, make sure that the balance is good, the battery is not dangerous, and then it starts charging. All right, so it starts charging immediately. To stop this one, you just hit enter again, and then you can unplug it. All right, so that's easy. That's easy. That's how you do the Hyperion. So we'll go over the GT Power one real quick. All right, so now we got the GT Power. Again, this has got the 4mm bullets on, but it came with it. I didn't have to solder these. It came with it. Then you've got the 4 different ports here. You got the 4 balance ports and then the 4 banks to plug in your charge leads to. So pop that over here, and we'll go ahead and plug this into the power supply. All right, so we'll go ahead and hook up the balance port. Here we'll go to the first bank, which is closest to me. And then obviously the Dean's plug, because that's what we're charging. All right, so battery type. Nickel metal, NiCad, PB. You can save data, load data, set your program to do stuff like life and stuff like that. Life batteries. And then you go to back to LiPo. LiPo is what we want. We hit enter for that. Hit enter again. How many milliamps do you want to charge at? Or how many amps? Since the battery is 4200 milliamp, we want to charge at 4.2. At least that's what I'm choosing to charge at. You can vary that, but make sure that you look into it so you know what you're doing. So then here you got how many cells you got. 3.7 is one cell. That's for my GT12s, but we're running 7.4 because it's 2S for the battery we got. But you can go right up to 3S, 4S, 5S, 6S, and then back down to 2 is what we want. So we hit start there. Now we're ready to charge. Again, just plug in the balance. Plug in the Dean's plug. And then hit start. Hold it. It'll ask you. This one asks you to confirm. It says, all right, you got 2S. Is that what you want? Yep. Okay. Hit it, and then it's charging. All right. So there you go. That's how to charge on both of them. And you can hear the fans already kicked in on that charger. So, and to stop this one, there's actually, you hit the stop button on that one, and then you're done. And when it gets done, it'll beep, so you'll know it's done that way as well. So obviously 2 different chargers. So let's do a quick wrap up and compare the 2. All right, guys. So obviously there were some differences between the 2, but there was a lot more similarities. I had the Hyperion first. After learning how to use that, it was really easy to switch over to the GT power one for me. So I use both. I don't really have a favorite. This one's this benefit of this one is you can plug it straight into the wall. You just plug your computer-based plug into that and plug it into the wall. Easy. This one you have to have a power supply. Benefit to this one though is, as we were talking earlier, that we like to charge at 1 amp per 1000 milliamps. So you have a 4200 battery like we just used, and we charge it at 4.2 amps. I also have 6600 milliamp batteries that I use, and I can't charge those at 6.6 amps on here because this will only go to 6 amps. So I have to charge those batteries at less than an amp per 1000 if I use this one. If I use this one, I can charge up to 7 amps, so I can charge at 6.6 amps. It's just spec stuff. It's just going to be a little bit slower on this one. And also, if you start charging batteries faster than the 1 amp rate, which please look into all the safety of that before you do that, then you can do that with this. Sometimes I charge the 4.2 or the 4200 milliamp batteries a little bit hotter, just so I can get them done faster if I'm at the track or something. But again, use at your own risk. So make sure you know the ins and outs of everything before you do that, please. But that's it. That's it for this week's What's in My Kit Wednesday. I'm not sure what we're going to bring next week, so we're going to keep that a surprise. It might be the tire truer, or I might go a completely different direction and get away from the power supply for a little while. So that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like what you're seeing, please click subscribe, and we'll see you next week.